The Tantra of Siddhaikavīra. Chapter 3. 41st Mantra. Om Vajra Tikshna Dukkha Cheda Prajna Jnana Murtaye Jnana Kaya Vagishvara Arapachanaya Te Nama. Om Vajra Tikshna, you who cut through suffering, the embodiment of wisdom and knowledge, the body of knowledge, Vagishvara, homage to Arapachana. One should visualize oneself in the form of Lord Mañjuśrī Siddhaikavīra, white like the light of the autumn moon. In his left hand he is holding a blue lotus, and his right hand is in the boon-granting gesture. He is the pure sphere of phenomena, shining forth from his primordially unborn nature. After 21 days, one will obtain the speech of Sarasvati. Within 6 months, one will accomplish Vagishvara. One will see Vagishvara right in front of oneself and remember everything one has heard. If, early in the morning, over the period of 1 month, one drinks half a tola of sweet flag, incanted 108 times, with milk, oil, or ghee, one will cure dullness, stammering, or dumbness. One's voice will become like that of a love-intoxicated cuckoo, and one's speech will be distinct and sweet. After 6 months of practice, the treatises one has not heard will become clearly known, and those that have been learned will not be forgotten. One will be able to retain whatever one has learned. 42nd Mantra. Om Vakyedam Nama. Om Vakya, homage to you. This is the heart mantra of the Venerable Vagishvara. One who is practicing this mantra while absorbed in the samadhi described earlier can accomplish all the tasks that were previously mentioned. One should gather 100,000 jasmine flower buds and descend into the waters of a great river flowing toward the ocean to where the water reaches up to one's neck. Reciting this mantra, one should throw the buds, one by one, into the stream. Should any bud float against the stream, one should swallow it without touching it with one's teeth. Then one will be granted the ability to remember everything that has been learned. Similarly, by offering 400,000 homas of any type of flower, one will become identical to Vagishvara. Early in the morning, one should prepare a mandala disc using 1 cat's paw of powdered pennywort and incant it 108 times. One should then make as many offerings to Lord Vagishvara as one can, and drink the powder with ghee or fermented rice water. Within 6 months, one will be able to remember whatever one has learned. One will be eloquent and have a sweet voice. This king of mantras will be mastered if one recites it 100,000 times for each syllable, according to the procedure of the preliminary practice. Later, during a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse, one should hold a sword wrought from fine iron in one's hand and recite the mantra while the moon is invisible, until it reappears. One will then become a Vidyadhara of the sword. In the same way, one may use the mantra to empower a wheel, a scepter, a trident, an arrow, a hammer, a noose, and so forth. After that, one should refine and empower the elixirs of long life. One should prepare the substances for an eye ointment, a tika ointment, an ointment for the feet, a salve of enthrallment, etc., and empower them. One should fill up a dish with either milk or yogurt mixed with rice, together with ghee and sugar. One should recite the mantra while covering it with one's hand, and then eat it. Then one will live for 500 years. One should put some beans in one's mouth and recite the mantra. If sprouts come forth, one will become eloquent, learned, skilled in writing, and able to remember all that one has learned. If one offers 100,000 homas of lotuses, the Lord will clearly appear before one. With 100,000 homas of bilva fruits, one will obtain the kingship of the triple universe. If one offers 400,000 homas of whatever kind of flowers may be available, one will obtain mastery of speech. With 400,000 homa offerings of 5 types of grain smeared with ghee, one will be able to summon a yakshini, or a girl from the patala. In the same way, one should offer 5 types of wood. Practice continuously, the mantra will even lead to the state of awakening in this very lifetime. 43rd Mantra. Om Hri Hum. Om Hri Hum. This king of mantras will grant the same result. 44th Mantra. Om Hri Mahamayange Mahasarasvatyai Nama. Om Hri Mamayanga, homage to Mahasarasvati. This heart mantra of the Venerable Noble Tara accomplishes all actions. Reciting the mantra Om, all phenomena are pure by nature, I am pure by nature on both the outside and inside, one should meditate that everything animate and inanimate, as well as oneself, is pure by nature. One should visualize a white lotus 7 hands in diameter, on top of it a moon disk, and in the center of the moon disk, the goddess in all her splendor, one hand holding a lotus, and the other displaying the boon-granting gesture. The nature of the Blessed Lady's body is great compassion. She is there solely to benefit others. She delights in granting practitioners the siddhis they desire. She is white like the rays of the autumn moon, anointed with cream of white sandalwood, and beautifully adorned with flowers. She is dressed in white garments, pearl necklaces, white and so forth, gleam on her chest, and many jewels adorn her body. She illuminates the endless and limitless world sphere with thousands of flashing light rays. She has the form of a 12-year-old girl, her body in all the fresh beauty of budding youth. One should visualize oneself thus in the form of Mahasarasvati, with Prajna in front, Meda to the right, Mati behind, and Smriti to the left, each goddess beautiful with the same characteristics as just described. Then, in the area of one's navel, in the center of a moon disk, one should visualize a white syllable, Om. Now one should recite the mantra, visualizing its complete garland as the nature of speech emerging from the syllable Om in an unbroken stream. The follower of mantra, with his mind wholly focused on this practice, and his body disciplined, sitting silently in the center of a sun disk the color of red lotus, will obtain the speech of Sarasvati within 1 month. Within 3 months, he will succeed even in the slaying of Brahma. Within 6 months, he will become equal to Sarasvati. One should drink well-prepared Sarasvati's ghee, incanted 7 times, together with goat's milk, yellow myrobalan, the 3 hot substances, pata, ugra, drumstick plant, and salt. A wise person should cook 1 prastar of ghee with 4 times the amount of milk, and 1 pala of each of the ingredients mentioned previously. Slowly, on a low fire. If one consumes it for just 1 month, one will obtain an unsurpassable gift of language. After a preliminary practice of 6 months, one will attain the state of Vaghishvara. One will master language by licking sweet flag, licorice, spiked ginger lily, simhi, patya, nagara, and dipaka, together with costus, kana, and cumin. Early in the morning, one should make offerings to the goddess with fragrant flowers and so forth. By eating the above ingredients incanted 7 times, one will become able within 6 months to remember what one hears. Within 3 months, one will become a master of speech, and within 1 month, one becomes an intelligent person. One will have a sweet voice, like a cuckoo intoxicated with love. Early in the morning, one should incant 7 times Himalayan yellow myrobalan and Himalayan sweet flag. One should leave them standing for 1 month and then eat them. Within a month, one will become an intelligent person, a master of language with a beautiful voice, and full of knowledge. Within 6 months, one will be able to remember everything that one has learned. 45th Mantra. Om Bhagavadini Vacham Me Niyacha Sarasvati Mahashvete Svaha. Om Bhagavadini, grant me the gift of speech. Sarasvati Mahashveta Svaha. This heart mantra of the great white goddess born from a lotus accomplishes all the tasks described previously. 46th Mantra. Om Aka Malini Kini 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 Svaha. Om Aka Malini Kini 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 Svaha. One should visualize oneself as the youthful Lord Mañjuśrī Siddhaikavīra. He is free from the afflictions, holds a book that embodies all statements, and brandishes the sword of wisdom in his right hand. In front of him one should visualize the sunlight garlanded Mahasarasvati, behind him Mañjuśrī, to his right Keshini, and to his left Upakeshini. One should visualize them as white like the autumn moon, and adorned with every ornament. While resting in this visualization, one should first make offerings to the best of one's ability, and then recite this mantra 400,000 times, following the procedures of the preliminary practice as already described. Then one should incant 1 pala of Sarasvati's ghee or pennywort ghee. Next, one should visualize that Sarasvati offers this substance to oneself with her hand. Absorbed in samadhi, one should drink it. Here is the recipe for this ghee mixed with pennywort. One should cook 1 prasta of ghee with the juice of pennywort and milk. One should add to it the following herbs and powders: turmeric, jasmine, and turpeth, together with yellow myrobalan. One should use 1 pala of each of these. The remaining ingredients are, traditionally, 1 karsha. Also pepper and the fruits of vidanga, together with salt and sugar. One should blend all this together and cook it slowly on a low fire. Then, by merely eating it, one will attain an unequaled purity of speech. By doing this for 7 days, one's voice will equal the kinnaras. By doing this over a period of 1 month, one will become full of knowledge. By doing this for 3 months, one will excel in being able to remember whatever one hears. Within 6 months, one will become, in reality, equal to Vaghishvara. One will conquer the 18 types of leprosy and the 7 types of tuberculosis. 47th Mantra. Om Ananta Jnana Shriye Mañjuśrī Nama. Om, homage to Mañjuśrī, who has the infinite splendor of knowledge. One should visualize oneself in the form of Vaghishvara, surrounded by the 4 goddesses as described before, and recite the mantra according to the procedure previously set out. Then one will be able to perform all the rites already mentioned. 48th Mantra. Om Arapachana Di Svaha. Om Arapachana Di Svaha. In an isolated place, one should draw a mandala and make offerings to the blessed Vaghishvara and to one's precious Guru. Then one should sit on a comfortable seat and arouse the mind set upon awakening. Afterward, one should recite 3 times the mantra, Om, all phenomena are pure by nature, I am pure by nature, and, considering oneself and everything else to be naturally pure, bring emptiness directly to mind. One should then visualize oneself, instantaneously arisen, upon a white lotus and a moon disk. One is white in color, holding a book and a sword. On the right side of oneself as Vaghishvara is Keshini, and on one's left, Upakeshini. Each of them is white and holds a red lotus. In front is Jalini Prabha, of white color, astride a sun disk and holding a blue lotus. Behind, one should visualize Chandra Prabha, astride a moon disk and holding a blue lotus. Then in one's heart, one should visualize the syllable A, radiating blazing streams of light, which is then transformed into an 8-spoked wheel, extremely ornate, as it is the nature of the complete range of speech. One should visualize the wheel clearly, and consider that it is rapidly revolving. Practicing in this way, one will come to know all the treatises clearly within 6 months, as regards both their meaning and composition, even if one has never heard them before. After 1 year, one will become equal to Vaghishvara. This was the method of the wheel of Arapachana. 49th Mantra. Om Vaghishvara Mu. Om Vaghishvara Mu. All the results mentioned previously will come to the person who recites this mantra. One should visualize in the center of a circle the syllable Mu, surrounded by a garland of flames. This is called the Circle of Wisdom procedure. 50th Mantra. Om Dharmadhatu Vaghishvara Mu Svaha. Om Vaghishvara of the sphere of phenomena, Mu Svaha. In the same order as just described, one should imagine oneself as having the nature of the 5 deities. Then one should visualize a 16-spoked wheel with the syllable Mu in its center. To those who visualize this, or an 8-spoked wheel, will come the results previously mentioned. 51st Mantra. Om Vajra Tikshna Varada Mu Svaha. Om Vajra Tikshna, the boon giver, Mu Svaha. One should visualize oneself as the syllable Mu. Then, as it transforms, one instantaneously becomes Vaghishvara, the sole hero, who, like a blazing fire, illuminates the entire environment. In one's heart, one should visualize the symbol Om, which is then transformed into a sun disk that illuminates all worlds, shining with 100,000 rays. By meditating thus, within 6 months the practitioner will become equal to Vaghishvara and will obtain all the results previously described. This was the 3rd chapter in the Great Sovereign Tantra of Siddhaikavīra. Chapter 4. 52nd Mantra. Om Lavanambo si tikshno si udagro si Bhayamkara, Amokasha, Daha, Gatrani, Daha, Mamsani, Daha, Tvacham, Nakani, Api, Daha, Astini, Astibyo, Majakam, Daha, Lavanam, Chindate, Lavanam, Bindati, Lavanam, Pachati, Kusone, Ta Lavane, Kriyā Mane, Kuto, Nidra, Kuto, Rati, Yadi Vasate, Yojana Shate, Nadinam Cha Satanare, Nagare, Loha Prakare, Krishna Sapakri Takule, Tatraiva Vasham Anihi, Lavana Banda Purakshurta, Om Chiti Chiti Vikloli Amukam, Sadhana Parivaram Eva Samanaya Svaha. Om Lavanamba, you are fierce, you are vast, O terrifying one. Burn the limbs of such and such, burn his flesh, burn his skin, burn even his nails, burn his bones and the marrow in his bones. He cuts the salt, breaks the salt, and cooks the salt. When the salt of the earth is being seized, how could one sleep? How could one find pleasure? If such and such dwells 100 leagues away, behind 100 rivers, in a city surrounded by iron walls and protected by cobras, at that very place enthrall that person, having first bound the salt. Om Chiti Chiti Vikloli, please bring here such and such a person, Svaha. As a preliminary practice, one should perform 10,000 recitations before commencing the sadhana practice. Here one should visualize oneself as the noble Lord Avalokiteshvara, standing beneath a blossoming Ashoka tree. He is red in color and wears red garlands, red clothes, jewelry, and unguents. He has a distinctively erotic appearance, and in his forearms he holds a noose, a goad, a bow, and an arrow. He is accompanied by 2 goddesses, Tara and Brikruti, who stand to his right and left respectively. Visualizing oneself like this, one should offer in the 3 periods of the day 108 homa offerings of salt. After 7 days, one will succeed in enthralling a man or a woman. After 21 days, one will be able to enthrall an eminent person. One should make an effigy from beeswax mixed with salt in the shape of the target person, 4 fingers in size. Then one should heat up that effigy at the 3 junctions of the day above the smokeless embers of kutch tree wood, while saying the mantra aloud. Whoever's name is included in the mantra, that person will become enthralled. One should give the target salt mixed with vajra water after incanting it 108 times. Then the target will become enthralled simply by drinking it. 53rd Mantra. Om Lavanambo Si Tikshno Si Udagro Si Hridayam Gama Amokasya Hridayam Pitam Nasti Loke Chikitsaka Om Chiti Chiti Vikloti Vikloli Maha Vikloli Amukam Me Vasham Anaya Svaha. Om Lavanamba, you are fierce, you are vast, you touch the heart of such and such a person is drunk. There is no physician in the world for this. Om Chiti Chiti Vikloli Vikloli Maha Vikloli, please enthrall such and such a person for me, Svaha. Having completed the procedure of the preliminary practice as before, one should drink 3 handfuls of incanted water with salt in the 3 periods of the day. Whoever's name one includes, that person will become enthralled. One should mix equal amounts of salt and black mustard seed and offer them in a Homa offering. Whoever's name is used in the offering, that person will become enthralled. 54th Mantra. Om Kurukule Svaha. Om Svaha to Kurukula. This is the heart mantra of the Venerable Noble Tara. Its invincible power in the activity of enthralling the three worlds is known far and wide. One should, while absorbed in the absorption mentioned previously, recite the mantra 100,000 times for each syllable. Later, the person to whom one gives flowers, incense, unguents, fragrant powders, or betel will become enthralled. By sensing oneself with a present-smelling incense, one will be adored by everyone. If one offers a homa of red flowers, the person whose name one uses in the homa will become enthralled. If one incants food and drink, whoever it is given to will become enthralled. To enthrall an important person, one should offer white mustard seeds in the fire. Later, on an auspicious lunar day, during an auspicious asterism, etc., one should make offerings to her, the Blessed One. Then one should draw a circle with 16 divisions in the form of a lotus with petals. One should draw it on birch bark or cloth using saffron, bovine orpiment, resin, etc. In the center of the circle, one should write both the name of the target and that of the practitioner. On the petals, one should write the 4 syllables Kuru Ku La in combination with the target's name only. On the outside, one should surround this with a 3-fold circle of Om syllables using a red cord and insert the drawing into the heart of an effigy made of beeswax. Then, while heating up the effigy over the embers of cut tree wood at the 3 junctions of the day, one should draw the effigy's feet toward oneself. Whether one is enthralling a man or a woman, one should pierce the feet with a copper needle and heat them. The target will become enthralled. One should visualize the wind mandala arisen from the syllable yam. Above it, one should visualize the target with disheveled hair, naked, and with a noose tied around his neck. One should pull him by the chest with a hook and draw him by means of the mantra which has the force of the wind. As he is visualized prostrate at the practitioner's feet, all that one wants from him can be accomplished. With dedicated practice, one will be able to draw even material objects into one's presence by mere concentration. One should place the mantra in the center of a bowl of ghee, honey, and sugar candy, and in the 3 periods of the day, offer flowers and other things to it while reciting the mantra. Then one will enthrall whomever one wishes. One should make a lamp wick with fibers of white lotus and put lampblack into a dish of unbaked clay, along with clarified butter from a brown cow. By applying this lampblack, incanted 108 times to one's eyes, one will be adored by everyone. In the ancestors' grove, one should collect lampblack from a wick made of white lotus fibers, burning inside a human skull with human fat. This should be done at night on the 8th or the 14th day of the waning moon. By anointing one's eyes with this lampblack, one will be adored by everyone. 55th Mantra. Amale vimale kunkume samyena bhato si bindun bindun ichaya devu vashati vidyoti gajati gajati vis maya maharaja samayita vadayita hom devebhyo manushebhyo gandhavebhyo Shiki Graha Deva Anandasya Graha Naya Gama Naya Krama Naya Juho Miha Svaha. In the pure and stainless saffron, you are bound by your pledge. The god rains raindrops, raindrops as he pleases. He sends lightning and thunder. O amazing great king, may he bring prosperity and growth. Hom. O god of comets and planets, I now offer an oblation to gods, humans, and Gandharvas for the seizing, the coming, and the traversing of happiness. Svaha. With this king of mantras, one should perform the preliminary ritual. Then, in the center of a house yard, one should smear cow dung and delineate the altar space. One should spread daba grass there and set it alight. Next, one should take 108 flowers of the giant milkweed shrub and, repeating the mantra, offer the flowers one by one in the fire. Then one summons the woman or man one desires. An intelligent person, knowing what is described here, should treat it with respect. This was the 4th chapter in the great sovereign Tantra of Siddhaikavīra. Here ends the great sovereign Tantra of Siddhaikavīra.